What is it like to have the fascinating aspect of Pluto on the ascendant? Why does this native often experience chaos in their environment? Why is it when you have this placement, you seem so unapproachable, even though there's nothing that's really scary about you? Stay tuned as we deep dive into what it's like to have Pluto on your ascendant. This is one of those aspects that is so fascinating to me. And the natives that have this aspect are fascinating people to me. Oh my gosh. I love these people. First off, before I even get started on how this energy may manifest in this native's life, I want to start off by saying if you have someone in your life that has this placement, hang on to them. Seriously, these natives can go down to the very bottom of almost anything and stand by you through all your shadow work, no matter what it brings up. They can be some of the absolutely most loyal people in your corner. But you have to earn that loyalty. You have to prove that you can be trusted. And when times get tough, that you're not just gonna buckle, that you will remain steadfast and loyal. And if you're always honest to this native and you're always loyal, then you will have someone that will have your back no matter what. There is this country song that reminds me of someone with this placement. So back in the day, there was this song called Goodbye Earl by the Dixie Chicks. Now, it's a song about two best friends named Mary Ann and Wanda. Now, they have been the best of friends since high school. And after they graduate, Mary Ann moved off to a big city, but Wanda stayed in their small little town and she got married to this man named Earl. Well, Earl ends up hitting Wanda, and so she's telling Mary Ann all about it. Well, Mary Ann catches the next flight from Atlanta, and together they come up with this plan to poison Earl and hide his body. Yes, this is a real song. Anyways, Mary Ann reminds me of someone who has her Pluto on her ascendant. You don't mess with these people, nor the ones that they love. They are the John Wicks of the zodiac. I am telling you, they are quite powerful beings. And this even goes for my Pluto and Scorpio friends. When they have this aspect, it is even more intensified. But all of these individuals come into this life with a sense of power in their energy field. That's why you seem intimidating if you have this placement and you don't even understand why. There are people that are literally scared of you and you've never even talked to them. And you can get talked about with this placement by people that have never even talked to you and gotten your side of the story. You're just so enigmatic with this placement. You give off this air of mystery yet power. And really, these natives chose to have this placement coming into this life because it just naturally gives off this do not mess with me vibe if they need to use it. You know, honestly, I'd say 95% of physical fights never actually happen. They're all just talk. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, just watch reality TV shows. People will get into it and they will swear to God they're gonna hit someone, but they actually never physically fight. It's always broken up or held back, or they actually never do anything. I don't know the actual percentage, but honestly, most physical fights don't end up happening. But with this placement, you don't have to say anything at all. People don't want to mess with you. And the thing is with this placement, the older they get, the wiser they get. And they can hold off their anger. And they are so skilled. they can really manifest revenge in a couple different ways. The unevolved native will be patient enough to know when to strike when it's least expected, and they can get revenge on someone and stay completely hidden. Like, I'm not even kidding. There's a lot of hidden things and secrets with this placement, but we'll get to that a little later in this video. There is just so much to unpack with this aspect. Okay, so this native can recognize that you have slighted them, and they can get back at you in a way that you can't like really prove it's them. Or this native, if they are in an evolved state, they will realize that they don't even have to use their valuable energy to retaliate. Karma always gets back at those who have slighted this native. So in mythology, Pluto has this helmet of invisibility that makes him hidden whenever he wears it. And that's why I say these natives can be some of the sneakiest people. They can be your criminals. They can be the ones that lead the drug rings, and you would absolutely never expect it from them. Like, they can be your PTA Mom of the Year and be selling drugs to make a living. Or these natives can be into sex work, so they can be the PTA Mom of the Year that has an OnlyFans. I would love for everyone that has this placement to write a book about their life. If they were honest, most people would be shocked at the things that they've done. But honestly, this is why this placement makes for the best therapist or a life coach or a motivational speaker, because they can relate to a lot of people. These natives naturally experience plutonic things their whole life. They cannot avoid it. So they see the dark sides of life often. They often see the shadow sides of people. They are the excavators of the zodiac. They can dig deep into anything. And here's the thing. With Pluto on the ascendant, you are essentially being Pluto. And that's another reason people seem scared of you, because they don't want to face their own shadows. And another thing that just sucks about this placement is people tend to project their own garbage on you. That's why you could get accused of things that you didn't do, or accused of saying things that you didn't say, or people twisting your words around to fit their narrative. This is why this placement isn't always for the faint of heart. It takes someone who is quite resilient to take on this placement, because you are basically being Pluto walking around, and you stir up everyone's crap that they don't want to face, and then they're basically thanking you by projecting everything that comes up for them onto you, making it seem like you're the bad guy, when really you're just actually here on Earth to help clean up everyone's shadow and bring more light to the Earth. You're like the janitors of the zodiac. You really don't get the appreciation that you deserve with this placement, because you are cleaning things up energetically for the people, and they can't physically see it. It's like that quote Rodney Dangerfield always used to say, "I don't get no respect." And not only does this placement not really get the recognition that it deserves from people, another really crappy thing that happens is this native comes into someone's life and stirs up their shadow and helps heal the person. And let's say this happens in like a romantic relationship. Well, then the person changes and the relationship ends, and then the healed person goes on to have like this stable, loving relationship. It can suck to have this placement, because you have the capability to heal others so that they can be a better version of themselves for another person. And you can love super big with this placement. Pluto deals with extremes, you know, so you can love really big, and you can also hate really big when you feel slighted, especially when you're still unevolved. Now, I'm talking about evolved and unevolved, But what I'm talking about is someone with this placement will take a journey throughout life. They will transform their identity multiple times throughout life with this placement. They will live up to this phoenix rising from the ashes. So they will go through situations that test them. They have to go through the fire. They have to melt and they have to transform through the nothingness of ashes and rise above it all. This placement is not easy. I mean, on paper, this placement sounds like a breeze. I mean, you get to change your identity whenever you want. You get to seem powerful to people without really ever having to do anything. But I think with this placement, you so desperately want to hang on to something for a long time. And it just always seems like you can't hold on to anything for a long time because all things change. It's a never-ending cycle, death and rebirth over and over. Just look at the seasons. Look at the leaves on the trees. They die every winter and they're born every spring. Look at the moon. You know, it starts out every month and it grows until it's full. Life is nothing but cycles. And someone with this placement is very aware of the cycles of life. And let me tell you another reason you want these people in your corner. Over time, they become some of the most wisest people you've ever met. They understand psychology at a whole other level of deep. So they understand most humans at a level that others cannot even comprehend. And they constantly learn their whole life. Because with this placement, personal relationships will be super important. They are some of the absolute best teachers for somebody with this placement. Another really crappy thing is breakups can be some of the best teachers for someone with this placement. It's like they upgrade each new relationship. But unfortunately, they got these super big hearts. So sometimes it's hard for these natives to let go of the ones that they care about. They typically keep their inner circle small. They may know a lot of people, but not very many people know them. And I use quotation marks because some people know this native and will be like, they will claim that they're great friends, but in reality, they really aren't. It can be incredibly hard to read this person. They actually may be completely unreadable if they really want to be. They use this as a defense mechanism in some ways, and most of them aren't even aware that they do this. But these natives just always keep it where you can't just quite place your finger on something about them. Maybe it's how much money they have. Are they rich? Are they poor? Are they poor acting rich? You know, if you're dating them, are they being faithful to you? Do they talk to somebody else? Are they really good at hiding what they do? Sometimes people don't even know what these natives do for a living, but they see them out living their life and they have a house and they have a car and they're like, where does their money come from? And sometimes people don't even know if these natives actually like them. They think, yeah, we're friends. And then maybe the native does something like not text them back or not attend a party. And it's just kind of like, there seems to be some kind of distance or something. It can manifest in a lot of different ways, but there's just something mysterious about this native. You don't know all of their answers, and they're private and don't share all of their answers. Even though there's some people that are super close to them, they may not even know everything about this native. They have that helmet of invisibility that they can put on, remember? And they can use this power for their benefit a lot throughout life. But it's also possible that they manifest emotionally unavailable partners with this placement, or partners who want to keep them a secret, or partners who never see them for who they are, or partners who don't support them. They may feel invisible in a relationship, like they help heal their partner, but their partner isn't able to help them in return. See, they usually get in relationships where they ultimately hold the power, but people try and take their power from them little by little. And they may have found this same pattern in childhood. It could manifest with having a very authoritative parent who would not let you have an opinion, or who did not value what you had to contribute to the family, and they diminished you or your talent like little by little over the years. These natives usually deal with some type of abuse in their childhood. I only say that because most of the time, this native came in as a powerful, willful child, but that power was stripped away from them, and they have had to go through life learning how to step back into their power. You know, if someone with this placement evolves and gets to the point where they do step back into their power as an adult, they get tested with the ultimate question in their life. Once a native with this placement goes through their trials and tribulations, they will have a lot of psychological knowledge on why humans act the way they do. And as we all know, with great power comes great responsibility. So every evolved native with this placement will be faced with the question, will I use this knowledge and wisdom for good or for evil? Someone with this placement can know manipulation tactics, and they can know psychological tricks to get people to behave the way that they want them to. These can be your cult leaders who know how to get others to listen to them. Or someone with this placement can use this wisdom for good and to help heal others from their childhood trauma, because someone with this placement is a natural healer. Yes, they do destruct things they come into contact with, but they build back more beautiful. I have noticed that if someone has this placement, they are a natural fighter. Again, this can manifest in a couple of different ways. You know, they could actually be a physical fighter, and they could fight, physical fights, or they could fight some type of social injustice. They have the energy with this placement to plow through things and to dig deep, so they just really aren't the people to fight with. They are natural born fighters. They have to deal with constant death and rebirths in life with this placement. So it can sometimes feel like their security is in question. They can get comfortable in life, but then somehow it always circles back to survival mode. They can change careers. These aren't always the people that are going to identify with their career. Sam the butcher, Leroy the crossing guard that has been the crossing guard, at the corner of Church Street and Elm Street for 40 years. They may be a massage therapist and then somehow get sued. So then they become a lawyer and then they get burnt out. So then they start a YouTube channel about questions about law, and then they end up owning their own business and branding it and selling law journals. And unfortunately, they may not be with their partner for life, because they learn so much from others that when they have learned everything that they need to learn from someone, it's time to move on. These people naturally attract lessons. These natives can also be amazing at sex, and it may shock others to know all of the things that this placement is willing to explore. They can really love power play in the bedroom. I do want to say before I forget, is someone with this placement will be very selective on who they want to help. They want to know that if they spend their energy on you, you're not going to waste it and that you will use it to help yourself. They want you to learn things and to do things on your own. They aren't the ones that kind of want to do something for you every single time. They are here to help you heal and to let you do it on your own. So if you know someone with this placement and they are spending energy on you, appreciate it, because they are highly selective on that. So you must be special. Also, one very important thing I also want to mention is if you have this placement, never, ever, ever let someone tell you that you are too much. You may be too much for them, but that's just because they don't have a vessel big enough to hold your light. You are a big being with this placement, and you can handle a lot of things that a lot of people cannot handle. So sometimes people think that you're just too intense or you're too much, but that's nonsense. You are here to be a trailblazer. You are here to do big things on big scales. And that is too much for some people, but you, my friend, can handle the intensity with no problemo. That's why we need you in this world. So never let that hold you back, my little Pluto on the Ascendant friends. Remember, all throughout life, you are going to meet people that try to take your light away from you or try to diminish you. But don't let them dim you. You are a powerful beacon of light and hope for so many with this placement. Just remember, when those situations come up in your life, call them out for exactly what they are. They are just tests to see if you allow others to dim your light, and you do not have to allow that. I put out astrology videos every week, and if you are interested in why your soul came here to transform, then I invite you to watch my videos of Pluto through the houses. They are full of information that can help you along on your journey. As always, my little buttercups, thank you so much for watching my video today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Mwah!